If you've ever taken a look in a real Torah, you'll notice that there are very different paragraphs. Some paragraphs end in the beginning of one line, and the next paragraph will start at the end of that very same line. Sometimes it'll be a new paragraph. Sometimes there will be a couple lines between the two paragraphs. But almost always, between each Parsha, there is some sort of a separation. Unlike this week's Parsha, which literally starts off in the middle of a sentence. Had the Chachamim not told us that this was a new Parsha, Parshas Vayechi, I would have read right past it. There is no recognition that a new point starts over here. The term for this is called a Parshas Stuma, which literally means a closed Parsha, because there is no opening for the Parsha to begin. It is closed. Rashi explains that this could be because of two reasons. Number one, because this week's Parsha talks about the death of Yaakov, and once Yaakov passed away, our eyes became closed, and now we have the challenges of Golus and exile in Egypt. Another explanation is that before Yaakov passed away, he gathered all his sons together to try to reveal the coming of Mashiach, and when it would arrive. However, that was taken away from him. It was closed from him. These are two possible reasons why the Torah starts off mid-sentence of this week's Parsha. But asks the Rebbe, why focus on all the negativity? Look at all the positivity in this week's Parsha. Yaakov comes, he lives. The name of this week's Parsha is Vayechi Yaakov, and Yaakov lived. These were the best 17 years of his life. He's with all his children. Everyone is finally getting along. He has no hardships. Why can't there be a positive reason why the Torah starts mid-sentence? And on that topic, why is this week's Parsha called Vayechi Yaakov and Yaakov lived on, when this Parsha speaks about his death? Explains the Rebbe, it's very simple. Because we know true life is not defined by the 120 years, or in Yaakov's case, the 147 years that a person is put down in this world to live. True life is defined by looking at his legacy afterwards, on how it connected to an eternal source, on how his descendants, the people who follow in his ways, continue to act in his ways. And when it comes to Yaakov, this is so much more relevant, because when it comes to Yaakov, the Torah never talks about Yaakov dying. There is nowhere in the Torah that says Vayamos Yaakov and Yaakov died. It says that he lied down. The Gemara explains very simple. Yaakov Avinu lo yimes. Yaakov Avinu never died. Ma'zare b'chaim afhu b'chaim. As long as his children are alive and well, he is literally alive and well. Therefore, the Parsha which he seemingly passes away is actually the Parsha which really brings his true life out in full force. To watch his children go through Golus and come out strong, get the Torah, establish a nation, and through all the hardships until this very day, we are still strong as proud Jews who don't care about the setbacks that are in the world around us. That is Vayechi Yaakov. That is making him live. Mazara b'chaim afhu b'chaim. As long as his children are alive and proud Bnei Yisrael, proud Jews, he is alive and well. So now with this understanding, if you look back at those two reasons why the Torah starts off this week's Parsha mid-sentence, they're actually not negative at all. When Yaakov passed away, all the suffering began, and therefore it is closed, is not a bad thing. It is actually the stepping stool for our greatest blessings. It is the channel for our greatest reward. Of course, Yaakov would get nachas from watching his children learn Torah and fulfill Hashem's mitzvahs when it's easy, but he gets that much more nachas. He gets that much more pleasure, as does Hashem himself, when we do it because it's hard, when we do it when there are challenges. The same is with the second reason. Yaakov wanted to reveal Mashiach to his sons and when it would come, but it was taken away from him, it was closed from him, because we would not have the same yearning and desire for Mashiach, we would not work as hard if we knew when it was coming. The idea is that we don't know, and yet we still await it every day as if it's coming right now, because we truly believe that it can come right now if we get our act together. And therefore the reason this week's Parsha starts mid-sentence in the Torah is not something negative. It is actually the purpose of our lives. The Parsha Stuma, the closed Parsha, is actually the stepping stool for the greatest opening. It teaches us what true life means and the lessons that we have to take out of it. Our job is to take those lessons, to fulfill Torah and do mitzvahs, not just when it's easy, not just when I get rewarded, not just when no one's giving me a hard time, but when it's difficult, when I don't want to, when I have other desires, when I have other wants. That is literally keeping Yaakov alive as we speak. And ultimately, when this is accomplished, we will be merited to see, we will be zeichet to see Yaakov Avinu in a physical body once again, along with everybody else in the coming of Mashiach. May he come speedily in our days. Wishing you a good Shabbos.